Okay, let's talk about something we've all seen. You hire this amazing top-tier candidate. They're excited, they have all this potential, and then what happens in their first few weeks? Well, for a lot of companies, all that great energy just dissolves into confusion. So today, we're going to dig into how to fix that, how to transform that broken onboarding process into a smart, AI-powered system that actually keeps that day one momentum alive.
All right, let's just dive right in. Section 1, the onboarding crisis. And look, this is a problem I'm sure so many of us recognize. It's like this silent productivity killer that sneaks in during the first 30 days of a new hire's journey.
This quote just hits the nail on the head, doesn't it? You've got new hires walking in the door, just buzzing with excitement. But then give it a few weeks, and suddenly they're lost. They're not getting up to speed, and you can just feel them disengaging. We pour all this money and energy into recruiting only to watch that initial spark just fizzle out. It's a huge waste. You know the drill, right? The typical onboarding process is this crazy whirlwind. It's treated like a one-and-done event. Here's your one kickoff session, here's a checklist, and oh, here's a link to our massive, messy SharePoint drive. We just bombard them with information and then kind of leave them to figure it out. And what happens? They get confused, ramp-up times are slow, and honestly, you risk them walking right back out the door.
And this, right here, is such a critical point. Most companies don't have a content problem, they have an access problem. The information is there, somewhere, but it's totally locked away. So the challenge isn't about creating more and more documents. It's about getting the right answer to the right person at the exact moment they actually need it.
So if that's the problem, what on earth is the solution? Well, that brings us to Section 2, a new paradigm, the intelligent system. This is all about a huge shift in how we think about this. We need to move away from onboarding as a one-time event and start building an intelligent system that's always there, supporting our people. So what does this intelligent system actually look like? Well, imagine your new hire is working late, and a question pops into their head. Instead of getting stuck and waiting until morning, they can just interact with a system that's like their own personal 24/7 guide. It gives them clear, consistent answers that let them feel productive and confident right from day one. This comparison just lays it all out perfectly. On the left, you've got the old way, this messy, frustrating maze of documents. And on the right, the new way, clarity, guidance, intelligence. We're moving from a game of search and guess to getting instant, reliable answers. And this isn't just about a better experience, it's about directly speeding up how quickly a new employee can actually start contributing.
Now, this is really important to understand. This isn't about one specific product or piece of software. It's a strategy, a framework. The AI tool you end up using, whether it's Microsoft's Copilot, something you build with ChatGPT, or another system, that's just the vehicle. The core need for instant access and intelligence, that doesn't change no matter what tech you use.
Okay, so how do we actually build this thing? Let's get into Section 3, how the system works. And you might be surprised at just how straightforward the basic process really is. Let's break it down. When you boil it all down, it really comes down to these 3 foundational steps. First, you've got to gather all your important content. Second, you use that content to build a central knowledge base. And third, you switch the system on so it can give instant answers based on all that knowledge.
So step 1 is all about gathering your content, and you need to think pretty broadly here. You need the big picture stuff, the company story, the values, the org charts, but what's just as important is the nitty-gritty practical stuff, the how-to guides for your software, those first 30-day checklists. It's that mix of the why and the how that makes the system so powerful.
Then in step 2, you take all that stuff you collected and you feed it into your AI tool. You're basically building a brain for your company, a single, trusted source of truth that the AI can pull from to give answers that are always consistent and always accurate.
And here in step 3, this is where the magic happens. No more tapping a busy coworker on the shoulder, no more digging through a shared drive for an hour. A new hire can just ask a normal question, in plain English, like, how do I submit an expense report? Right in the moment they need to know.
And here's the real game changer. The system doesn't just shoot back a link to some 20-page PDF. No, it gives a clear, step-by-step answer they can use right away. But it can even go deeper. It can explain why submitting that report correctly matters by connecting it to bigger business goals. And that gives the new hire valuable context and a sense of purpose.
Okay, so we've covered the what and the how. Now for Section 4, the real work before AI. This is where we get into the biggest misunderstanding about building a system like this. Because the most important part of this whole process, it might not be what you think it is.
So, what is the hardest part? You know, your gut might tell you it's the technology, picking the perfect AI platform, tweaking all the settings, but it turns out that's not really the biggest hurdle at all.
This says it all. The hard part is getting your content aligned, structured, and ready to use. That is the real bottleneck. The success of your entire system 100% depends on the quality of the information you put into it. It's that classic idea, garbage in, garbage out.
Let me give you a simple analogy that makes this crystal clear. Building an AI intelligence system is a lot like painting a room.
The AI tool itself, the technology, think of that as the can of paint. It's the thing you apply at the very end. It's the shiny final coat that makes everything look amazing. And honestly, it's often the easiest and most satisfying part of the job.
But your content strategy, all those hours you spend finding, organizing, structuring, and aligning your documents, that is the prep work. It's the taping, the sanding, the filling in all the little holes. It's tedious, but it's absolutely essential.
And the lesson here is simple. Just like painting, if you skip the prep work, the final result is gonna be a mess. Doesn't matter how fancy or expensive your paint, your AI tool is. That content prep is what absolutely determines whether the whole project succeeds or fails.
And here's the big takeaway from that whole analogy. The prep work, getting your content audited, structured, and aligned, that's the foundation. That's the work you can and absolutely should start doing right now, even before you've decided on which AI tool you're going to use. So if this is all resonating with you and you're ready to actually do something about it, Cindy Liu over at CHRO Partners has put together a fantastic full tutorial. It literally walks you through this entire process, showing you exactly how to get your content in order and build your own intelligence system. You can check it out at the link you see right here.
So I'll just leave you with this one final question to think about. If a new employee started at your company tomorrow, would they feel clear, confident, and ready to actually contribute in their very first week? Because at the end of the day, the companies that win the war for talent aren't the ones with the most information. They're the ones who make that information findable, empowering their people to do great work from day one.